Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to make a clock with mixed media. I am so excited to show you how it turns out. So go ahead, grab a snack, and I'm going to show you some of the supplies that we will need. For this project, we are going to need a clock making set. So I have right here a piece of wood. It's square. It has a hole in the middle for the clock to go through. I have the numbers that go on it, and then the actual kit. So this is the minute hand, second hand, hour hand, and then this is the mechanism that makes it work. So just a simple clock making kit is all you need. We're going to be doing some mixed media like I said, so we will need some fimo clay, and it doesn't matter what color, you could red, green, white, orange, doesn't matter, because we're going to paint over it. I'm going to be using some molds for my fimo clay. You don't have to use the molds if you don't want to. You can mold it however you want. So I have this one here that's got butterflies on it, and I have this one right here that has flowers on it. You'll also need some paint, and if you have any other embellishments such as lace or anything else that you want to put on the clock, go ahead and grab it. So to get started, we need to put some fimo clay in our mold and let it bake. I have some fimo clay that I've been using that is already in a plastic bag, so rather than opening a new package, I'm going to use this. And this actually isn't fimo clay, it is Sculpey Softy. So anything will work for this. So you could even use paper clay. It doesn't have to be fimo clay. You could use plaster if you wanted to make these molds out of plaster. And then I'm going to go ahead and just show you how I make a flower. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and knead my clay a little bit. I'm going to pull a piece off. And I like to roll it in a ball. And I'm just going to place that ball in one of my molds. Pushing it in here really good. Now I did get a little bit too much, so I'm just going to kind of take and swipe it off there. Get back on the clay. Okay. We want to leave a little bit of an indentation in the middle so there's a place for our glue to go. We're going to be using hot glue to glue these on. So once you get your item in there just right and you don't have anything over the edges, and take it out. So that's what it looks like. Now we are going to put our creation on a baking sheet. And then what we will do is bake this at 275 for 20 to 30 minutes. So let me just go ahead and I'll take this and bake it. Okay, and it is done baking now. It's nice and hard. So we are good to go with using it on our clock. I have to admit to you, I actually made a bunch of clay formations before the video so you didn't have to watch me sit there and push clay into a mold. Here are all of my clay formations that I made. There's several flowers, there's several butterflies, and there's a few leaves in here. You can use whatever you would like. Our next step is to take a hot glue gun and glue the pieces to our board that will hold our clock. So what I like to do is put the clock face on it, not like put it on it permanently, but just put the clock face on it. I think I'm gonna start out with some lace on my clock. So basically I'm just gonna put it along my clock, just along the side here. And you'll see why I wanna put lace on it later when we do something called dry brushing. So I'm just gonna cut it to size. Alright, and the next thing I'm going to do is use some Mod Podge, and I'm going to glue that down with the Mod Podge, and then I'm also going to use a blow dryer to blow dry that so we can move on with our project. Okay, and I'll take the lace off, and I'm just going to put the Mod Podge right on the surface right here and put the lace on. So I'm going to move my center here. Okay, now I'm going to stick it on. And now I'm going to put more Mod Podge over that lace, making sure that it really stays. Here's my dog. Isn't he cute? You can't barely, well, there's his paw. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please be sure to hit the like button. It really helps my channel. And if you watch me a lot, you might as well subscribe, and that way you get notifications if you click the bell to watch my videos. So Just something to consider. So now I'm going to take this and hit it with a blow dryer to dry it so we can move on with our project. I used a measuring tape to mark the center of my clock here. I just went from end to find the center. So I'm just going to place that in the center right here so I know where my clock face is going to be so I can place my pieces. I'm going to place my pieces on it first and then decide where I want to have them. I think this is a pretty cute design. I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing the pieces on one at a time. And when you're placing your pieces, don't be afraid to let them hang off like I did with these two butterflies. Okay, and now I have all of my pieces glued on to my clock. So I'm going to remove the face of the clock. We don't need that anymore. And the next thing we're going to do is paint this whole thing a beautiful shade of blue. Let me grab that paint. This is the color of the paint that we're going to be using. I pre-mixed it myself. It was a mixture of medium shade teal with some white. And this is latex paint. I will be using acrylic paint as well, so whatever kind of paint you choose to use is really up to you. And next we are going to paint. So I forgot to tell you something. I actually use a makeup brush to paint with. I know that sounds really strange, but it really gets the paint everywhere you need it to be and it's nice and soft. Got hot glue in my hair. That's fantastic. And we're just going to paint over the whole entire thing, and it'll probably take 2 coats. I like to swirl my paintbrush when I'm painting. It helps get the paint in all of the little nooks and crannies. And then don't worry about painting the side of it because we're actually going to do something different with the side. Make sure you get around the sides really well. I know it's hard, that's why I use the makeup brush so I can just kind of shove it in there around the sides. Be afraid to get a lot of paint on your brush and just swirl it all over the place and get it where you need it to be. So now that this first coat is done, I'm going to go ahead and blow dry it and put a second coat on. Okay, so I got the second coat. The next thing we are going to do is take some paint and we are going to paint some of these little details in here. So we're going to paint some of the flowers and the butterflies and just kind of make it our own. First, I think I'm going to come in with some green and put it on the leaves. Using this shade right here. By Folk Art. And I'm just kind of painting the tops of them. I'm not worrying about painting the sides, just the tops. So I'm going to put some yellow in the middle of the flowers. Next we're going to come in with the red right here. And now I'm going to come in with some blue on the bigger flowers. For the butterflies, I'm going to come in with some gold. Alright, this is what we have done so far. Next thing we're going to do is come in with some more red and get these flowers painted, and we'll also fix the yellow parts that are getting painted over. Okay, so now we have our clock painted, and the next thing we are going to do is going to freak you out, but just trust the process. So here's what mine looks like, and what we're going to do is actually glaze our project. So when you apply glaze to a project, it's going to bring out all of the different indentations. It'll make it a little bit darker and kind of age it a little bit, and I'm going for more of an aged look for this. So we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to glaze it. It's going to be really great, and we're almost done with our project, so hang in there. Alright, so we are going to be using as a glaze this Rust-Oleum wood stain, and it's in Kona. We're going to apply the glaze with this chip brush. It's just a 1-inch chip brush. Now you could stop here, put your clock pieces on, and just do it like this. So if you decide you don't like the look with the glaze, then when you do it, just stop here, and it's beautiful. I just absolutely love it. But I really want to show you how to glaze it and make it look kind of a little bit older and just more antique, because I think the antique look is really nice. Okay, pop this baby open. Don't forget to tell me to wear gloves. I always forget. I got gloves right here, and I will just forget to put them on. So you guys have to remind me. I don't know. Write me a comment reminding me to wear the gloves. Okay. So this is the color of our stain, and I know it's super duper dark, but what we're going to do is rub it in, and then we're going to wipe it off with some rags. So we're going to paint it on and then wipe it off. And you'll see that the colors will still come back through, but it'll just have a more muted look to it. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Angie, and my channel's name is Ms. Angela Sawyer. Now we grab our rags and we rub. See how the gold is just coming right through? And the red is coming back through. Everything's coming back through. It's a bit of an art getting this off, because you get to pick like how much you want off and where you want it off. Excuse the squeak of my card table here. I'm set up in my bedroom right now. We have like a huge house. It's a Victorian house. We just bought it a couple of years ago. But for some reason, with having 4 kids, I ended up with no YouTube room. And in my old house, which only had 2 bedrooms, I actually had a YouTube room, which is very bizarre how that played out. But so I'm just hanging in my bedroom right now, all by myself, doing some crafts with you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I'm so excited to see how this is going to turn out in the end, because we have one more thing that we're going to do. We're not done with our little techniques yet. We're going to do something called dry brushing, and we're going to dry brush some gold over the top of everything, and it's gonna look really neat. Okay, so I've got this all wiped off, and now I need to dry it. So I will be right back once it is dry, which will be like 1 second for you and like I don't know how long for me. Alright, the next thing we are going to do is use some gold to paint the edges or the sides of our piece. And then we're also going to use this same gold to do some dry brushing in just a moment. So let's go ahead and paint the sides gold. Alright, so I have painted all of the edges gold. And now it's time to do a little bit of dry brushing. So we're going to take the same gold color, this right here, and we're going to put it lightly on this paintbrush and then just lightly brush the gold over the whole piece. So let me show you how to do that. Yeah, satisfying, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is dip this brush in this paint, and then I'm going to wipe most of it off so I don't have very much on there. I'm just going to take it and wipe it off. Okay, so I still have a little bit of paint on my brush. I'm just going to lightly go over some spots. So that's the dry brushing that I wanted to do on this. And then the very last step is putting the clock together. So let's do that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the numbers on the clock. Okay, and I attached the pieces and this clock is done. I would like to thank you so much for watching today's video. It's been kind of a long day for me. I know this video is not as long for you, but it has taken me all day to put this video together. So I hope you really got some value out of it. And once again, I hope you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I have so much more creative things coming up. I also have all kinds of creative lists of ideas. So keep a lookout for those as well. And I'll go ahead and put a video on the screen next that you're absolutely going to love. So I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.